16-time world champion John Cena announced earlier in the year that 2025 would be his last as a professional active WWE wrestler, and that is because he plans to retire at the end of next year, but not before giving us one final run of the C Nation leader. But what's going on, guys? It is Ketch, back with another video on the channel. If you're new around here, I make weekly wrestling content on this channel, so if you're liking what you're seeing, don't be afraid to give it a like, and let's get into why and how WWE should book John Cena's final run. Cena will definitely appear on the first episode of Raw in the Netflix era. This is the first episode of Raw that Netflix will be taking charge of properly, and it's going to be a massive episode, probably the most anticipated episode of Raw since Raw 1000, unless I'm getting that wrong. I don't think there's been another episode of Raw that's been as much as anticipated as that. But yeah, Cena will come out, welcome the crowd to the arena, sort of go down what he's done in WWE over the years, and just, yeah, list all his accomplishments. And then I think he'll be interrupted by Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium, and they'll sort of run him down like they do in the generic sort of heel way. And then this will have, like, I reckon it'll have like an interruption chain where multiple wrestlers come out interrupting each other, leading to probably like an 8-man tag team match at the end of the night. It'll probably include the likes of Punk, Seth freaking Rollins, maybe the Bloodline probably will be in there, Solo Sikoa and his Team U Bloodline will be there as well. It's going to be a massive event, so I think there'll be quite a few interruptions interrupting John Cena and his first promo back. But then I think this will sort of sow the seeds for the Royal Rumble, which I think that will be where Cena's next main appearance will be. He might have a couple of backstage skits in between the first episode of Raw and the Royal Rumble, but I think there's maybe 3 weeks between that first episode of Raw and the Rumble itself. I think the Rumble's actually Feb 2nd, so it might be more like a month. But there is a lot of TV time in between then and the Royal Rumble for Cena to fit into. So I think there'll be definitely a lot he can do in the background, maybe sort of building up little storylines with potential feuds he can have later down the line. So then once we get to the Royal Rumble, I think Cena will be part of the 30-man Royal Rumble, and it's anticipated to be one of the best Royal Rumble matches, not just in recent memory, but of all time. The amount of star power that's likely to be in this Royal Rumble is nuts. I'm not even sure if you even know who some of them will probably be, but the likes of Cena, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa will probably be in it, Seth freaking Rollins will definitely be in it, Bronson Reed, not Cody Rhodes, he'll probably still be champion, the likes of Sami Zayn, the Usos. There will be a lot, even LA Knight as well, the current United States champion. I reckon just in those sort of 7 or 8 names I've just rattled off, that is a lot of star power for a Royal Rumble. And I haven't even mentioned the likes of CM Punk and Drew McIntyre either, who probably had feud of the year. But my point is, I reckon John Cena will probably enter midway through, maybe entrant 15 through 20, one of those numbers, and it will last to the last sort of 3. And then I don't think there's 2 ways to probably do this. I think either A, he wins the Rumble, or B, he gets thrown out as one of the last 3 by someone who's not in the Rumble. So ideally, or in this case, probably Gunther. I think Gunther throws him out in a potential way to set up a WrestleMania feud. Or the other way to go is if Cena actually wins the Rumble, then he can make his decision on which champion to face at WrestleMania, similar to how The Undertaker did it in 2007. Now, at the time, there were 3 brands in WWE, and Undertaker had to choose between the World Heavyweight, WWE, and ECW championships, and in the end, he picked the World Heavyweight champion, Batista. But the point I'm trying to get across is if Cena does indeed win the Rumble, I think he'll probably make his decision somewhere similar to Undertaker's in 2007. That's what I think he'll do. However, if he doesn't win the Rumble and Gunther does throw him out as one of the last 3, I think that is your WrestleMania match right there for the main event, one of the main events of WrestleMania 41. And I think in that scenario, they'll have a really good build up to WrestleMania 41, highlighting Cena's accomplishments at his peak, but also the fact that he hasn't won a WrestleMania match for quite some time. He's obviously missed a few WrestleManias and made cameo appearances at others, but he hasn't, I don't think he's actually won a match at WrestleMania probably since, I think, beating Rusev maybe at WrestleMania 31. If that's as long as he has not won a match for, then it doesn't surprise me. I think in 2016 he was injured and saved The Rock against the Wyatts. In 2017 he lost to The Undertaker, and then I don't think he had a match 18 through 19. I think he lost to Bray Wyatt in that Firefly Funhouse match in the COVID pandemic, WrestleMania 36 I believe that one was, and I don't think he's wrestled on WrestleManias since his opening night loss to Austin Theory at WrestleMania 39. So Cena has not had a great record at WrestleMania in recent times, but I think with Gunther as his opponent and as the heel, I think they'll have a 30-minute classic Mania match. Classic in the same vein as Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. That's how good I think it'll be. And with Gunther and John Cena both as seasoned pros, they'll be able to give that match what it deserves. I think it should personally go in the main event of WrestleMania 41, or at least one of them. I don't think it's an opener worthy match. I definitely think you have to have it in the main event. But obviously stories can change, and obviously with the likes of The Rock light lingering around WrestleMania season, there's also that to consider as well. So Cena might find himself in probably an opener as his final WrestleMania match, even though the fans and the internet wrestling community might not enjoy that. But there's a lot of possibilities between the Royal Rumble and the WrestleMania 40 for Cena to go. It just depends on how WWE want to pivot in that scenario, what they want him to do at the Royal Rumble through to WrestleMania 41. I think Cena will win his 17th World Championship at WrestleMania 41, and he has teased it in a clip. He was CVV in the past.
No, I guess my through line here is nobody does it alone. I don't exist without all the hard work of everybody else.
When we look at 16 championship wins, do you have a favorite in there?
My next one?
Your next one's a record-breaking one, then.
That would be cool.
Wait, there's going to be another one?
I have often said that that the time is coming for me to hang him up, and I'm not lying when I say that, but it's not tomorrow. It's probably soon, but it's not tomorrow. So you never know.
So there you go, John being very cheeky and coy on whether he thinks he can win a 17th World Championship with that remark of, it might happen and the next championship will probably be my best one. So it just remains to be seen what happens in that scenario. But I do think Cena will win his 17th World Championship at WrestleMania, and it sets up an excellent sort of little run to SummerSlam 2025. So in the lead up to what will be his last SummerSlam with the WWE and for good, I think John Cena will probably have a few good feuds on the roster, probably across both brands. I think they'll want to make as much as they can of Cena's time while he's got it and while he's there for them. So I think he'll probably be feuding the World Heavyweight Championship with the likes of LA Knight, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. They could probably make even a callback to his 2015 feud with Seth freaking Rollins, although I think that's probably been done enough times now, but it'll be a good callback. I also think maybe a feud against Kevin Owens for the World Heavyweight Championship would be very, very interesting. Kevin Owens has stepped up his game in the last sort of 2 years, so I definitely think that would be an interesting feud to go through. Also, Bron Breakker would be an excellent sort of passing of the torch if that was to happen, but I think that he will probably drop that World Heavyweight Championship to Dominic Mysterio. Now obviously there is a long time between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, so he might drop the title before then, or he might keep it all the way to SummerSlam. Given Triple H's way of booking, it'll probably happen one or two ways. He'll probably hold the title for about 4 weeks out of WrestleMania and drop it, or he will hold it for a while and then drop it around SummerSlam, probably to Dominic Mysterio at that point. But the reason I think Dominic Mysterio is probably the odds-on favorite to dethrone Cena, if that is the case, is because Dominic Mysterio is such a shit stirring of a heel. Everyone hates him, everyone loves to boo him, and he plays his character so well. So I think that would be a perfect foil to dethrone Cena for the World Heavyweight title, and then it sort of frees up Cena to have one sort of final feud in the WWE and sort of sign off with the company in the best way possible. And I think by lying on his back and giving up his final championship to a person like Dominic Mysterio, which would probably be his first world championship, would do wonders for Dominic Mysterio's career, or anyone who has the potential to dethrone him, really. While I might think it's Dominic Mysterio, it could be a handful of other people that he could that could dethrone John Cena in that scenario. So I guess this is all just a waiting game to see how that plays out. I think John Cena's final feud should probably be against Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton has probably given Cena the most amount of matches over his career, and he's probably been Cena's best playing partner. If Edge was still in the WWE, I might have said maybe Edge could give Cena his last feud, but they've done that feud so many times, I don't think you can go back to it. And Edge is not even in the company as it is anyway, so I think the distinction should go to Randy Orton. They had an insane feud in 2009, and then a not so great feud, but still pretty nice feud back in 2013-14. So I think, you know, I think Randy Orton being Cena's final feud is probably the right way to go about it. You know, they're both sort of roughly similar ages. I think Orton's a little bit younger, and I guess they could sort of play it off like Cena wants to have one final match, and then Orton could interrupt him and, you know, come out and say, look, it has to be against me. You know, let's go one more time. And I think the crowd's in a better position now. I mean, Cena and Orton are just legends in the WWE. So I don't think they'll be able to boo either of them. I think it'll be a match where both play the babyface and both get cheered by sections of the crowd. But I think Orton will come out victorious, finally retiring John Cena, at least on television, and giving Cena that ride into the sunset that he is definitely deserved over his long tenure within WWE. There still might be a few house shows that Cena does compete in as well, but obviously they won't be on television. So, you know, he might have a handful of, you know, little house show matches for the live crowds that go to those. But in terms of a television thing, I think his final feud will be against Randy Orton, and I think he'll go down to the RKO because that's Orton's finishing move and probably the best way to go about it. But I think Orton will do it in a way that's similar to how Shawn Michaels retired Ric Flair at WrestleMania 24 back in the day. It'd be something along the lines of, I'm sorry, I love you, before he hits him in an RKO and finally finishes off John Cena. So that's the way I think Cena's final feud will go against the Viper and Randy Orton, and I think that'll be a fantastic feud for people to watch. I definitely think that's on the cards, and obviously because Triple H is running creative, he's probably got his eye viewing everything on social media, so he's probably got a, you know, he's probably sat down with Cena at some point and gone, what do you want to do over the last year of your career, sort of thing. And, you know, Cena's probably obviously giving him dates and ideas and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I do think Randy Orton will be the one to finally retire him. And then I think from that point forward, you know, leading up to WrestleMania 42, I think John Cena will probably be the sort of main attraction entrant of the Hall of Fame class for 2026. And I think in that scenario, I think it'll probably be maybe, again, probably Randy Orton that inducts him into the Hall of Fame. I just think there's so much there. Or Cena might pick someone entirely different altogether. He might pick Triple H. He might pick a handful of other people within the WWE. But in most cases, I do think it'll probably be Randy Orton that does that honor as well. Or maybe even Kurt Angle, John Cena's first ever feud. If you remember correctly, Kurt Angle was inducted into the Hall of Fame by John Cena. So, you know, there's a bit of a parallel there. So they could probably go down that route as well. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, Cena has more than earned his induction into the Hall of Fame, and has earned such that distinction after such a legendary career and giving up so much to the WWE. But that has been the end of this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. What do you think of John Cena's final year in WWE? Let me know in the comments section down below, because I'm sure it'll be a fantastic year regardless. Also, give this video a like and a subscribe, as I'm trying to grow this channel as much as I can, trying to get to 500 subscribers as soon as possible, so any support is much appreciated. But with that, guys, I will leave you to it. Have a great day.